Hey guys, welcome back to another great game of CEDH. This was the third game we played with Alex, and unlike the first two, this one was a really close one, and really fun to play. Also, since we're now in June, I want to wish everyone a happy Pride Month from the members here on Dead on Board MTG. And as a heads up, it looks like my house search is coming to a close. Both inspections and appraisals went really well, so hopefully by the end of the month, I'll be moved into the new place. But that might mean I might miss a weekly video here or there, but I'll try and keep on the normal schedule. Also, if you want to support the channel, come check out our Patreon, as it's the best way to support the channel and help us produce the content you enjoy. Also, if you're interested in playing with us, hop on our Discord. We have an ever-growing community and we'll love to talk MTG or whatever strikes our fancy. And another benefit is we often let people know when we play and would love to meet some new people. Alright, block there, kill that. Oh, that is trample. Guess I'm just dead on board. Starting us off is Hidden Planet, and he's on a sweet new commander, Evelyn, the Covetous. And this is definitely a commander I dismissed originally, as being more of a casual setting card. But oh boy does this deck slap. This deck actually has a turn 1 World Gorger combo win with Evelyn, which is insane. And when you have Underworld Breach and Thasus as backup win cons, the deck is always a threat. In the second slot, we have Alex, NY Drummer Extraordinaire, and this time on Ikra Kraum. This is a powerful Turbo-Nos list that aims to either win quickly or pivot to grind late game, also using his commanders for card advantage and massive life gain for really game-ending ad-nos, or just to offset cards like Sylvan Library or Necropotence. In the third spot, we have MTG Loots with Tymna Tana. This deck is otherwise known as Blood Pod, and is what's known as a Meta Crusher deck. It's a stax deck that is highly customizable to what you want to hate on. Its goal is to grind the game down and gain advantage, since you know the stax pieces that are coming. Tuned to a specific meta, it can often hold the entire table down, but only if tuned properly. And bringing up the rear, we have Fernando, and a new deck he's testing out. Kodama, Silas Ren. This is a Sultai list that takes advantage of Kodama's ability to circumvent mana costs, dodge counterspells, and pull off sweet combos, while also relying on the tried and true Thasus Demonic to finish the table out. But without further ado, let's get on to the gameplay. Hidden starts off the game with a mana conflux. He then takes one for a Faithless Looting. He draws and discards a City of Brass and an Arid Mesa. Alex has a Bayou and a Birds of Paradise. Lutz plays a Tarnished Citadel as land. Fernando plays and cracks a Scalding Tarn for a Tropical Island. But before searching out a land, he shortcuts for an Elves of Deep Shadows. Hidden has an Ancient Tomb and takes 3 from his lands for a Frantic Search. He draws and discards a Swansong and a Buried Alive, untapping his 2 lands as well. And with a little deliberation, Hidden decides to be aggressive as he casts a Lion's Eye Diamond. He then takes 1 for a Rite of Flame for 2 red, using 1 of it on a gamble. He finds a card, and with 3 cards left in hand, discards a Pact of Negation. He takes 2 off his tomb, and with the last of his red, casts an Underworld Breach. But Lutz has a response, as he takes 3 for a white mana to cast Silence. And unfortunately for Hidden, his gamble discarded the Pact, and not his other card, as Lutz didn't have anything else. But the Silence resolves, and Hidden then has to sacrifice the Breach at end of turn. Alright,
we can play Magic now.
Alright,
Nice silence.
draw. Woo!
We're almost making it past turn 2, guys.
Yeah.
You're all welcome.
Damn.
Marsh flat, I'll crack it.
Except for you, Steve. You're not welcome, obviously.
I'm gonna get a UC, wherever it may, that rhymes, wherever it may be.
I accept MVP of the game, by the way. I accept.
Yep, Rick earned it. Rick earned
You got it, Rick. MVP.
100%.
Gotta give you something, you know? Sure, take MVP.
Alex then taps his Bayou for a Tinderwall, but it doesn't stay for long as he sacrifices it for mana and uses 1 of the red floating on a Mana Vault, which then gets tapped to help pay for Kraum. Alex then casts a Mox Opal and heads to combat. He sends Kraum at Fernando, who takes the hit. Lutz has an Undergrowth Stadium as land and uses it on an Ignoble Hierarch. Fernando plays a Morphic Pool and then taps 2 for a Talisman of Curiosity. He then uses it on a Wishclaw Talisman and triggers Kraum, but Fernando is done after that. Hidden draws but takes 3 to slam down a Windfall. He's hoping to refill his hand. Lutz does have a response as he Enlightened tutors for an Esper Sentinel, but this time it's Fernando's time to rain on Hidden's parade, as he responds by force of willing it, exiling a Neoform to stop the Windfall, and Hidden's turn. Alex then takes 1 off his tap vault and plays a Volcanic Island as land. He unfortunately is 1 short from what he actually wants to do and settles on a Wishclaw of his own. He ends his turn with Kraum heading back at Fernando. Lutz draws a Sentinel and is an Ancient Tomb. 4 mana then gets him Tana.
I can't do what I want to do, guys. It's not cool.
Oh no.
Not cool at all.
I know that feeling.
Fernando starts by activating his Wishclaw, and he gives it to Hidden. Fernando finds a card to hand and shocks in an Overgrown Tomb as land. He then taps out to cast a Culling Ritual, to the sadness of the table. The board is wiped and he gains 9 mana, 6 green and 3 black. The 6 green is then used for Kodama, triggering Kraum to let Alex draw. And with the last 3 floating black, Fernando Necros. But this is way too good, and Alex responds with a Fierce Guardianship to counter it. Hidden draws, but it's nothing good and has to pass. Alex top decks an Underworld Breach. You got another silencer? The Breach resolves and Alex then casts a Crop Rotation. He sacrifices his Bayou, but hoping to strain Alex's resources, Hidden responds by taking 3 to cast a Cyclonic Rift to bounce the Underworld Breach. Alex debates if he should fight it or try for the next turn, and decides to go for it, as he Fierce Guardianships it, exiling 3 from his graveyard. Lutz also has a response, but it's just Swords in the Kraum. And the Cyclonic is countered, and the Crop Rotation finds a Taiga, which is then tapped for a gamble. He ends up with 2 cards left in his hand and is to discard 1 randomly. Lutz chooses the right card, and Alex discards a Lion's Eye Diamond, which he then recasts from his yard by exiling another 3 cards. The diamond is then cracked for triple red, and another 3 cards are exiled to cast the gamble for a Demonic Consultation, which gets binned. But at this point, Alex starts looking at his graveyard and is realizing he doesn't have enough cards to keep going. Haha, Fierce Guardian shit took too many cards out. Seeing as he can't win, he then recasts his mana vault, exiling the demonic he just tutored for, and lets the breach die. Lutz has a Gaia's Cradle as land, and then takes 5 to cast Tymna. Lutz then moves to combat and sends Tana at Hidden, who can't block. Tana connects, and Lutz gets 2 1/1s, and he ends his turn paying another life to draw off Tymna. Fernando plays his own Gaia's Cradle and taps 3 for Silas Wren.
Hell yeah, we're going to plan D now.
Kodama then triggers and Fernando puts an Underground Sea into play. Hidden draws and plays 2 life off a Gip Probe. He looks at Lutz's hand and draws, but doesn't find another land and has to pass. Alex is also looking for lands and casts his other commander Ikra. Lutz has a Spectator seating his land and moves to combat. Both commanders head into Hidden, with Alex getting 2 1/1s heading at his direction. He blocks 1 and damage occurs. Lutz gains 2 more Saproings and 2 life from Tymna, but then spends that 2 life for 2 more cards. 6 mana then gets him an Archon of Valor's Reach, which prompts Hidden to have a response. He then takes 3 to Vamp Tutor, and he decides on a Wheel of Fortune, although the table doesn't know it yet. And the Archon resolves and Lutz names sorceries, which Hidden didn't think was going to happen. Lutz then follows us up with Athalia.
My goal is secretly just to kill myself faster.
Fernando starts off with combat, and he sends Silas at Hidden for 2. After he connects, Fernando then casts his Destroyed Wishclaw. He then taps his Cradle for 2 green and uses 1 mana to activate the Talisman, giving it to Hidden again, and finds a card to hand. Hidden draws his tutored card and then activates the Wishclaw. Hidden then goes searching.
What is this? Arch enemy on the
Yeah.
stax player that saved the game in the first turn?
Yep.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
You're just too good for us, Rick. We
Unbelievable.
gotta team up to beat you, you know?
Arch enemy on the stax player that's just progressing the game.
Correct. Because we can't do anything. We wanna cast sorceries, Rick.
Well, I want to play the game too, and you guys
That's fine.
played.
Seems like you are. I mean, you're definitely in the commanding position, so...
Yep, this is true.
Oh, that actually. All right, I got it. It's gonna hurt like hell, but I got it.
Unfortunately for Hidden, with no sorceries and very little mana, his options are limited. He did think he had the line as he found a snap, but forgot about the tax from Thalia, and sadly has to end his turn there. Alex takes one from his tap vault, and still not drawing land, activates the Wish Claw for its final time to go and grab an Ancient Tomb. He gives the Talisman to Hidden and hands the turn over. Loots plays and cracks a Bloodstained Mire for an untapped Sacred Foundry. 3 mana then gets him a Ranger Captain of Eos, who on ETB finds a Llanowar Elves. He still has a Floating Colorless and uses it on Survival of the Fittest before heading to combat. Loot sends Tana Hidden and the 2 Saproling to head into Alex, who blocks one with Ikra. Hidden then takes the hit, and Loots gains another 2 Saprolings. On his second main, Loots then taps his Cradle 4 mana and pitches the tutored Llanowar Elves to his Survival to find Sarth, the Fang's Viper, which he then casts to give his board Hexproof. He still has a green floating and pitches the Esper Sentinel to grab a Collector Oof. Finally, he ends his turn casting the Oof. Fernando for 5 casts Moloku. The wizard resolves, and he puts a Mana Vault into play off his Kodama trigger, but has nothing after that. Hidden still can't draw lands and passes, with Alex at his end step Vamp tutoring. Alex draws and casts a Sylvan Library. Loots untaps and taps his Cradle for 10 green. He then sacks his Captain to silence, and then pitches an Eidolon of Rhetoric to go find a Kiki Jiki, which is then pitched for a Felidar Guardian, which is then bin for a Karmic Guide. He then casts the Karmic Guide, which revives the Felidar Guardian, which blinks the guide to get Kiki. This lets him get infinite hasty cats. Combat is then held, and he sends a third of an infinite at each player. But Fernando actually has a response, as before blockers, he pays 1 to activate Moloku to bounce a land and get a 1/1 blue illusion creature token. This then triggers Kodama to let him put the land back into play, and Fernando can rinse and repeat for infinite illusions to block Loots' hasty cats. This lets Fernando survive that combat and still have a board of flyers, while both Hidden and Alex are both very dead. On Loots' second main, he takes 2 to draw off Tymna. He then uses Sarth to untap his Guy's Cradle and pitches a Loyal Apprentice to the Survival to find a Mayhem Devil, which he casts, and as end step, he has to sacrifice his hasty cats to ping Fernando out and win Loots the game.
Damn, Fernando, I was not prepared for that.
Yeah, that was a good play, guys. Well played.
Also, before we get to the game review, I do want to thank a very special patron, Monsterbane, for giving us support to the channel. Game review. Well, that was quite the game. Hidden nearly had a turn 2 win, and that timely silence definitely made Loots the MVP of the table. Well, that is until he got too far ahead, and MVP turned into archenemy. As for Fernando, I was surprised he used the Force on Hidden's Windfall, especially since right after he was looking for Hidden to wheel. And unfortunately for Hidden, he never found his third land, and with 2 lands that were super painful, he wasn't able to recover. But man, when I saw Fernando use his Moloku for those illusions, I thought he was going to take that game. Kodama is just sweet and definitely a force to be reckoned with. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you know that we have a TCG affiliate link, and if you ever see a card you want to try or are inspired to brew something new, use our link when purchasing and we'll receive a small portion of the sale. This is a great way to support the channel, and if you enjoyed the gameplay, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps us keep making videos. And remember, never give up, even if you're dead on board. I'll see you guys later.